Hi everyone, I'm Colleen. Today's video is inspired by some comments that came in both on this channel and on my other channel that I share with my friend Cindy, Out of This World. And they were related to the idea of wondering whether you're being spiritual enough or how to be spiritual. And I've spent a lot of time thinking about this over the years, so I thought it might be a good topic to talk about today. The whole point of this channel, when I started this channel, Colleen Walks the Talk, was not just about literally walking, like my walks in the forest with Lola. It was about walking the talk, all the stuff that we talk about with spirituality or that we learn, actually incorporating that into our everyday lives, because I have a life to live. And I've been on a practice of figuring out how to do that, how to have my regular 3D life. I work, I have a family, I have a place to look after, I have people to interact with that aren't necessarily spiritual and some that are. And then I also want to, maintain my inner peace, maintain my connection to spirit, be following guidance, stuff like that. How do you balance that, right? And what do you do in those times when you feel, well, I don't know if you have, I certainly have gone through times where I feel like I'm not being spiritual enough. I'm not doing enough. There's not enough going on spiritually in my life. And it's funny because the times when I've said to Cindy, oh, there's really nothing much going on, I'm not feeling very connected, then we'll just be chatting and I'll be telling her things that have happened or messages that I've gotten over the last week or whatever. And she laughs and goes like, oh yeah, there's really nothing going on, Colleen. Like you're totally connected, totally talking to your guides. What do you mean there's nothing going on? And so that's the first point I'm going to bring up is I think when you feel like you're not being spiritual enough or there's not enough spiritual growth going on, that might be because you've raised your set point. I actually said this to my friend Tracy once. She had her we call it a mini awakening because it's not like the Great Awakening. It's just when she first went through realizing that there's something more going on and finding her own connections to spirit in that. She had some big, profound experiences and her vibration was raising and raising, and she could feel like she was really excited and she could feel the connections to her guides and to all kinds of things. She had all these wild experiences. And then she told me that she was in a phase of not really feeling like there was anything going on. She couldn't feel it anymore. She wasn't feeling this connection anymore. And what I said to her was, I don't necessarily think that it's that you're not connected anymore or that they're not with you or those messages are not coming in. I think that your set point has changed. And now, like at first, those experiences were just kind of overwhelming, right? Like with the energy that's coming in and the feeling of it all. And then you've risen to that level of vibration, of spirituality. And now those things aren't as exciting anymore. The only analogy I can think of is like if you start doing some new exercise, like even just lifting weights. At first, they feel really heavy. But then as you keep doing the same thing, you're building the muscle and it's not as hard anymore. And it's not because you're not doing it, and it's not because the weight isn't there in your hand. It's because you've acclimated to that. You've built your strength, and now it's easier to lift that weight, right? So I think it's the same with us with spirituality. We go through these periods where, yeah, like we're in a big spiritual growth phase. I've gone through all kinds of them over the 30-ish years that I've been, studying spirituality and in my own growth. Periods where I'm super inspired and there's all kinds of stuff going on and there's all these experiences happening and intuitions coming in. And then I go into this lull period, right? Where there's kind of nothing really happening. But it's not because I'm not being spiritual, and it's not because that stuff is gone. It's because it's just become part of my everyday, how I am, who I am. In the Out of This World videos, Cindy and I have talked about that you are vibrationally different. Every minute of every day, you're constantly changing based on your experiences. You are vibrationally different now just from watching this few minutes of my video. I am from recording it. So we're constantly changing and evolving, and we can't expect to be doing the same things or feeling the same way all the time. So somebody said in the comments that she used to read all these spiritual books and things, and now she's not doing that. And somebody else asked if they wondered if they were being spiritual enough. So I was asking Big Bertha, like, how do I talk about that? And I stumbled across this podcast from Eckhart Tolle. And somebody had asked him a question about living their regular life and having conversations with people and things that aren't necessarily spiritual conversations, and trying to be present in that time, and wondering if they shouldn't even be talking to people who are not, part of their spiritual community or something, because they're not in presence at that time. And what Eckhart said was really spoke to me. He said that the object in his, line of teachings is to be the observing self, right? Be the presence that is observing you and observing what's going on around you, sort of from you see what I'm doing here? Like from a higher viewpoint, and just observing. So like right now, I'm observing the fact that I'm waving my arm around a lot. That's a different part of me than the part of me that is waving my arm around. Do you know what I mean? So that observing presence, that's just watching, going, I'm making a video, I'm talking about Eckhart Tolle. That, in his teachings, is the whole point. That is the key to enlightenment, is just growing the strength, the muscle of that observing presence. So he said, when you're having these conversations, as long as there's just even any part of you that is that observing presence, you are present. You are doing it. So that's like just my summary of a whole podcast from Eckhart Tolle, but it really made sense to me that the fact that this viewer who said she didn't know if she was being spiritual enough was realizing that you need to be spiritual, meaning have some sort of spiritual practice. She is being spiritual. You are being spiritual. What I do in a day as spiritual practice has changed so much over the years and over weeks, like from last week to this week, of what I do. When I first started on my spiritual journey, I was reading books. Like, there was no internet yet. So I was reading all kinds of books from like Cryon and Abraham Hicks and all kinds of different authors. Dr. Wayne Dyer, I'm going to forget some of them. But anyway, books that I devour. Oh, the Celestine Prophecy series is the one that changed my life. So I'm like devouring books, just getting all this information. And then the internet comes out and I'm feeling like I want more current stuff. I want stuff that was just posted. So then I start devouring stuff on the internet, Karen Bishop's teachings and Abraham Hicks. And it wasn't videos, that it was like written pages and pages of written information that you would read, channeled information, that you would read like on the internet. And so as I would read all that stuff, and then I would incorporate, like, not all of it. I mean, there was so many concepts and so many things that you're supposed to be doing, but I would just incorporate all of that knowledge into how I was living my life, what I was doing as spiritual practice. But now I don't really read all that much anymore. Or I used to, then of course, then it was videos, and I'm watching lots and lots of videos from all these different channels and teachers and things like that. I find now, since Cindy and I started the other channel, Out of This World, and since Cindy started her Lady of the Forest 444 channel and started doing channeling for her and I, like, we just get together socially, and then after we've hung out for a while, she'll get messages for us. Since that's been happening, and particularly the Out of This World messages and teachings, I actually haven't been watching that much other material on YouTube or anywhere else. I've been just incorporating the stuff that I'm getting from those teachings. So I ebb and flow as to what I'm taking in and what I'm incorporating in my spiritual life, and what are the things that I do every day, and how do I how do I be spiritual? So I do have some practices that I do every day. Every day when I wake up in the morning, I got this from Sonia Choquette from a video that on her channel. I say hello to my guides. Like when I first wake up, Lola sleeps with me. So the first thing that happens when I wake up is Lola coming to greet me. And so that, of course, she's always in such a good mood, raises my vibration right then. But the next thing I do before I get out of bed is I say hello to my guides. I just started recently calling them my team because I kind of didn't know what to call them. You know, I've got Big Bertha, but I know I have more guides than that. And so now I say, morning team, and I invite them to join me in my day. And I say, like, let's have a great day. And, you know, if the sun's shining in the window or whatever, thank you for the beautiful weather today or whatever it is, anything just to greet them so that I've done that before I even get out of bed. And then I try to do something that's like, that's not just grabbing my phone and starting to scroll through emails or social media or whatever. I make my coffee and do some stretching. And then I go out on my balcony. I go out on my balcony until it's like pretty cold out. I just bundle up and go sit out there all year round and just sit for a few minutes and look out at nature. And I force myself, and for me, it takes a bit. I force myself to not pick up my phone and start looking at anything like what's the weather for today and what's in my email for at least 15 minutes. So I do that for 15 minutes, and then I try to put on something spiritual. I got that from Oprah, actually. So she does something in the morning, anything spiritual, reads something, does a guided meditation, anything like that. And so what I've started doing is, because I'm out on my balcony, so I just turn on a podcast. That's how I've been listening to the Eckhart Tolle. I just turn on a podcast or something that is audio so I can still be looking out at the view and drinking my coffee, but I'm just listening randomly to some kind of piece of just a few minutes of a podcast. So I do that. And then I work from home right now. So I just get up and get ready and come sit at my desk and start work. But I find that just having that few minutes of the day to just sort of set things keeps me feeling like I'm being spiritual. It keeps me connected. It restores, you know, just remembering that I need to maintain my vibration and my connection throughout the day. And then I also just talk to my guides randomly all throughout the day. And that in itself too is being spiritual. Like I don't think we have to be doing these big profound practices every day or cleansings and whatever attunements every day. And if you're doing that, do it. I think it's really individual for everyone about what you're doing that is being spiritual. So the other thing I do, and this comes from Abraham Hicks, is I pretty carefully monitor what I'm feeling like all day long. And I've gotten really good at noticing when I'm feeling low vibration or when I've absorbed some negative energy or when I'm in anger or putting out not great energy. I posted a video not too long ago where I went for a lunch walk and I showed you things that I did to clear out some negativity that I had absorbed from some frustrating morning at work, you know? So I'm pretty good at monitoring how I'm feeling because one Abraham Hicks teaching that really has stayed with me for years and years and years is nothing is more important than you feel good. And the first time I heard that, I think I kind of found it a little bit selfish sounding, you know, like what about other people feeling good? But I get it now. What is going on inside of me? What emotions I'm feeling? What's going on in my, you know, solar plexus for me and like wherever you're feeling your energy totally affects what I'm putting out to others, what I'm attracting toward me, how I'm interacting with people, and just generally how I'm creating what's going on in my life. So that has become a baseline part of my spiritual practice is just monitoring what's going on inside of me and taking pretty quick action if what's going on inside of me is not pretty. And I'm not talking about stuffing things. It happened again just a couple days ago at work. It's work. So like you're dealing with all kinds of people. There's stuff going on that's out of your control. And I got not feeling great by some stuff that somebody said in a meeting, and I took it personally and found myself churning in thoughts about it and feeling all yucky about it. And I took a break and I went out on my balcony because I'm outside then, and outside is really a good place for me. And it's not that I just stuffed it and wanted it to go away. I took a second to figure out why I was feeling this way, to process, a reality check that what the person said it wasn't that much. But I was, you know, overthinking it, just like another video that I did. And so I took a minute to like figure out what was going on to cause these feelings. And then I did some breathing, asked my guides out loud to please help me to shed any energy that wasn't serving me, any negative energy that didn't belong to me, or even if it did belong to me that wasn't serving me any longer, to help raise my vibration and clear out my energetic channel. In CFB 20, the last episode on the Out of This World channel, there's a little part where I talked about this energetic channel. I'm going to do a separate video about that I think channel of light that I think runs in your core. And so when this happened, this work thing, that's what I did. I did some breathing down into that core channel to just kind of push or ease, or I don't know what to call it, expand the blockage out of there. And it didn't take very long. Like I wasn't on a long break or anything. I just was stepped out for a couple minutes. And I was able to ground that out and go back to work, feeling better, which meant that I was attracting better work circumstances and just being spiritual, right? In many of our Out of This World videos and on Cindy's own channel, on her Lady of the Forest 444, her angels talk about turning towards the light. That's kind of the whole point of life, is that we're here to learn how to, no matter what's going on in our human experience, to turn toward the light. And what does that mean, right? It took me a while to figure out what that meant. And all it means is just always looking for the higher reason, looking for the vibrational way to look at something, being present, like Eckhart Tolle talks about, looking from that other view, finding, not just getting wrapped up in feelings, but realizing that they're there for a reason, just always turning toward the spiritual view, I think is looking for the light or turning toward the light. So as long as you are doing that in your daily practice, and it's different for every one of you, I'm giving you the ways that I do those things daily, but everybody is on their individual journey, right? And so it's different for everyone. And I don't do a lot anymore, I used to, of going to practitioners, to have healings and clearings and things done. But you might. I have some physical problems now, and I go to different practitioners. I go to like physiotherapy, but that is also so that I can be feeling better. If you're going to get treatments and things and Reiki healings and things like that, I still think that there's a responsibility, like everything still comes from within. Yes, people can share this energy and this healing with you, but when you get home, you still have to do the work. You still have to turn towards the light. You still have to do your part of having that healing come from within. And so I think that that can be just in little things that you're doing every day. And I'd be interested to hear in the comments, like, what kind of things you do every day. We all know, it's no secret that I go for a walk in the forest every day. And that is a huge part of my spiritual practice. And that is where I talk to my guides, raise my vibration, commune with nature, ask nature to, help me by giving me whatever it is that nature has to give me that day. And I share my energy, with the trees around me, things like that. I actually had a really cool experience in the forest today, and I shot some footage of just some time I spent with some chickadees. All of a sudden, well, actually, I was going to go one way on the trail. And Lola kept pulling me back this other way. She didn't want to go. And like, I know I'm in charge, but sometimes I take that as a sign and I let Lola lead me, right? So I went the other way down the other trail. And just as I stepped into that section, all these chickadees came in and started visiting me. I stopped. I was standing at this tree for, I don't know, 10 minutes, just enjoying these chickadees. And I'm going to share the footage with you, or whatever of it turned out. I haven't even looked at it yet. But I wasn't doing anything. They weren't giving me a message. Nothing like that was happening. But there was this joy. They were coming up so close to me, like this. I didn't have any bird seed in my hand or anything for them to be attracting them, but they were coming onto branches like right up close to me. I felt like they were saying hello. And the bird sounds, and Lola got all quiet too. Like she too got all still and quiet, just watching these chickadees. So moments like that, I'm not doing anything in particular, but I'm just being and enjoying what's being presented to me in the moment in my absolutely 3D life. But I really think that moments like that raise my vibration. I think I'm sending out lots of the love energy that I was feeling from these birds. And I'm also, sending it out to everybody who's on the trail and stuff like that. So that was a joy moment that I had today. Another piece of this how to be spiritual puzzle that I have struggled with over years, and struggle with less now, but I've talked about this on the Out of This World channel as well. I don't do anything like a practitioner or a reader. I don't do tarot readings. I don't give Reiki healings. I don't have some modality that I use to be spiritual or to share things with people. And for years and years, I sort of talked down on myself for that because I wanted to be like everybody else and have some kind of title, or skill. But I just was not interested. Like all kinds of stuff that's out there. I know how to go get Reiki training or learn how to do tarot reading, and I dabbled in tarot a little bit, and then it's like, no, I do draw tarot cards for myself, but no, I don't really want to get so immersed in this that I'm going to do it as a service. And I never could find what I wanted to do. But whenever I would ask my guides, what do I need to be? What do I do? The answer I would get would be nothing, just be. And I could never, it was never good enough for me. I didn't believe that was the answer that I was getting. They would say, just walk around, just talk to people. Just by doing that, you are fulfilling your purpose. And I didn't understand that until Cindy and I recorded on the Out of This World channel. I'm pretty sure it was CFB3. I'll try and link it above here. I don't know where the links go. I'll link it. Where I found out there were some episodes about what homes we've incarnated from, on the other side. And I found out that I, in this lifetime, have incarnated from the home, which is the place where all the love energy and all that is stored. The way I pictured it was like it's this big storage tank. It's not that we're controlling it there or anything. It's just where the storage facility is. And so because of that, people who are from that home emit a tremendous amount of love energy because I'm connected to that home, right? And so it's coming from that home and out through me to the world, to everybody I interact with, to you through this video. And you can see when I found that out from that in that video, the relief that I felt, and that, well, I cried. The inspiration that I got from it, because it was like, yes, there you go. That's why I've always got those messages that I just need to walk around. Like that's just by being me, I am sharing whatever it is that I'm supposed to be sharing. It's explained much better in that video. But it was a big relief for me to find that out and to let go of the idea that I needed to take some course or become some sort of practitioner because I just really didn't want to. But I had doubted the little voice that was always telling me exactly that. Don't worry about it. Just go walk around. Just be you, talk to people. And now make videos. And I've definitely gotten Big Bertha has told me that when I make videos, there is love energy that is coming out. And of course, by sharing it out with you, I'm getting it back from you as well. But that too was a lesson for me in that I don't part of the reason I don't want to do anything is because I don't have to do anything. That's not my gift. My gift is just basically emitting energy. And then the other thing that I've been told is that I come from a line of master manifestors, and I am going to teach people how to manifest. And like, I haven't yet manifested all the things that I would like the property that I would like to live on in the forest and things like that, but I'm working on it. And part of this reason I started this channel is because I want to talk about law of attraction. It's been a lifelong study for me. And so in talking about law of attraction, I am starting just baby steps, teaching you or discussing with you. I don't even know if I'm enough of an expert to be teaching you, but we're discussing ways to raise your vibration. And I've got more videos coming on, how to manifest things in your life. And so just by doing that, just by talking about law of attraction and how it works for me, I am being spiritual. So how are you being spiritual? What are you doing that you're not giving yourself enough credit for? What are you doing every day that is part of just your set point now? But then also, what could you be doing every day that would be part of a spiritual practice that you could just incorporate into your everyday life? That maybe you want to start. Maybe this video inspired you that you want to start doing those things. I'd love to hear your experiences. And I love when you talk to each other in the comments too. So thanks for doing that. That goes on all the time on the Out of This World channel. And I love seeing it on this channel because I do think that we're building a community here. So, let's talk to each other and encourage each other in those comments. And maybe we can build some practices together. I'm going to put the footage at the end of this video of my little moment with the chickadees that I had when I was on my walk today, in case you'd like to stick around and just enjoy that for a couple of minutes. And thanks very much for joining me, and we'll see you soon.